in to start things off. Okay, yay! That's going to be the heat coming at you, as it's going to be Fisher, oh my goodness, Kachuk, Omni, and Vance. I pray that's the right way to say this one, Orbital. I get caught up so hard on these names.
Of course, and taking a look at the other side, we are going to take a look at GCU. It's going to be Froppy, Nando, and Thomas. And I will say I had the pleasure of a little bit of information on Tuesday, and I will say this, at least I think so, and if it's not, then you and I will both either get reamed in the comments or one or the other. I believe it's Okanagan coming out here. I think it's Okanagan, but they are an amazing school. I got to watch them Wednesday with the League of Legends squad, so I expect tonight to be no different between these two teams.
To be Okanagan, but we're going to be going into this one, Okea and GCU, and we're going to see if we can get into a long best of 5, maybe. Otherwise, we'll swing one way or the other, but it will be the Antelopes that are trying to strike first. They are knocking at the door of Okanagan, and Omni will be set to try and get them a clear.
And once again, I mean, you're asking for 5, and I think just the last series also went to 5, right? And with the distance, had a blast doing it as well. So, and teams are ramping up, especially this being like the second or third to last week here of regular season play. It's going to be crazy.
Latimos making the most of just kind of both defenders splitting out a bit too far, and Fisher too late to it. They come from the top rope, slam one home, and that is a quick strike by Grand Canyon University. We're going to see a lot of that domination from the backboard. Both these teams have the opportunities to be able to do it. It's about who calms things down and turning some of that midfield play into opportunities. That was a great flip reset and then a double demo, and that'll make everyone balance out.
Big questions as well. Because again, what you see at the start and already on the aggressive again, exactly how it's going to play out. How far do you want to go? How quickly do you want to try and pace yourself? I mean, it's going to keep me underwater here and keep me in suspense. You know, if you're caught up in that world, it's a little bit crazy on the defensive side. So we'll see what they can do here. Okanagan trying to set themselves up for an attacking side, but for right now, just now getting that ball back quickly.
Good control. Second setup. That one's going to drop down. Nice waterfall, but Froppy stays a step behind and yet continues to pause it just inside the stripes. They bring out the second man in, so they're looking for that challenge as it continues to float a little bit slower. And Okanagan, rather. They're trying me type my noggin, trying to remember how to say their name, but it's because they are constantly just getting battered down. Grand Canyon University is just battering down at the door. Fisher finally finds one big boomer ball. Look how they're just bullying him in that chase.
So good. And honestly,
fights back and forth. Very entertaining. Okanagan, though, the very aggressive attempt at stealing that one away, setting a defender out, is a great way to get yourself stuck without a goalie. So got to be very careful, and that's exactly what happened. GCU take advantage of an attempt at a long pass, and that's going to be a second for GCU.
Latimos. They were looking for just something to the sidewall, stick it to the hexagons, and see if they could at least maintain ball control. But as they bleed out players on their defensive rotation, it's going to be Grand Canyon University that bears down at them. Fisher, they've had a couple of good looks. They should be able to outpace the defenders, and they go for a tight tap and cannot squeeze it between two. And they actually had a free look to start things off, and they just had to carry it a bit too high.
I mean, that's scary, right? That was a great attempt there, but the ball dropping dead and not being able to follow up feels very bad. So right now, Okanagan trying to look for an open shot here, but Latimos was ready on the edge. Very well done to carry that one over. A little bit of a roll and a bounce, quick pinch on the ground, not going to be able to be on course. Instead, picked up by Okanagan, but again, a little bit of a kick. Going to be a dive by both sides, and neither collects. So Nando is going to try their best. Get a little bit cheeky with it. Going to try and set themselves up for success, but right now in the midfield, with 2 minutes left to play, right now GCU looking like the leaders.
Short-lived offenses right now for Okanagan. Not been able to be upfield in the GCU half for very long. Now I like that combination. They commit all numbers, just be able to clear some airspace. That's going to be a nice boost recovered by Latimos, and very trusting in their teammates. And what, again, was a brief existence on the orange half. Okanagan have to fight tooth and nail to be able to find, again, 100 seconds remaining. Soft aerial control, nice dribble, and they do bait the defender out. They just can't get that one on target. At least it doesn't become a third.
Would you say it's actually fighting by tire and foot? Would that work?
by bumper and by axle.
There you go. I was wondering about that. I'm curious about which one it would be. As I mean, they're duking it out. At this point, you can pretty much see the cars are being demoed and crunched together. They are fighting for every piece and scrap. And GCU, honestly, the longer they wind down the time, the better. And right now, as you said, this is the top level. And game ones are always a little bit of a testing the limits. And GCU, of course, starting off with a strong 2-0. It's going to be great. However, games 2 and 3 are really where I'm going to sit down and be like, this is where we see the true teams come out.
Yeah, game number 1 is always a kind of a weird variable, unaccounted for, who's ready first. But game number 2, everyone's had game speed, series speed to work themselves up into, and really becomes a more definitive measure of the series. Lattimos looking for options. They maintain their flip from ceiling on down. And Omni is just trying to find Fisher in traffic. They have to call up their third in vans, and that becomes a free net for all of a moment. They actually play for the fake out. Fisher gets a save, and the third is cooking for GCU, but the escape line is found by Okanagan.
Very, very well done. However, that will not stop the inevitable here. With only 10 seconds left, don't really have too many options. GCU just going to play keep away, right? They're going to sit themselves in a very nice spot. For the Heat, not starting off as strong as I think they would have liked, but hey, plenty of opportunity and plenty of games to play.
That's going to go be Grand Canyon University. Game number 1.
That game 1 is very, very quick. And with the teams already set for the next, it starts off with a quick demo. GCU getting aggressive right off the rip.
Let's see if they can continue doing what they did for an entire game against Okanagan, and already requiring Omni to have their name called, step up to the plate and make a big defensive stop early. First half minute of play, you really want to see Okanagan be able to press out from their back half. They have to establish not just a single iterance and a single sprint of offensive, but we need to find them presenting that in earnest. We got to find these secondary and tertiary numbers. Big save, but Lattimos is going to be fortunate enough to find the follow-up.
Ooh, very, very well done. Great read there. And again, great team play as well. Okanagan kind of set off on the sides, bamboozled, if you will. And that's something that you can't let happen too often, but that's what happens in these high-tier plays. These team-coordinated plays come very, very quickly.
Sometimes you just have to challenge in that neutral 50 space. If you've put it up in the first place, then just follow. See if the defender got a good clear or not, and, you know, math will math, and that one just becomes easy arithmetic. Now following up, Okanagan looking to have a longer stay in the Grand Canyon back half, but it's been Lattimos has been able to find the most amount of real estate back here. Big demo as Fisher will be turned into ash, dust, and maybe a slight memory, but that's good all for Nando. Doesn't matter if their finger is all stitched up. It's good to go, and they get 2.
And honestly, that was a bit cheeky, right? That was actually Okanagan looking to actually get that demo and try and create a bit of space, but GCU were able to follow through, and that opportunity turned into an advantage. Well done, GCU, already sitting at 2, just like in game number 1.
Now this is feeling like GCU have just come to play a little bit faster than Okanagan. They have not been able to find any interconnections. I've not seen a lot of passing plays that wasn't just them dishing it out to their own back corners, looking for some kind of cycle, and it's not been without a Grand Canyon University player challenging straight up in the sky over their own back half. Now, for the first time in a while, we actually get to see a shot. Froppy with a big dig, and so they're going to be able to get that save, but GCU now is being tested.
And I mean, that's only one test, though, to really put the same kind of pressure onto GCU like Okanagan we're having. I mean, we got to see 3 or 4 attacks out of Okanagan, right? We got to see them hammering that goal, or at least the goalpost, as hard as possible. Instead, we're getting attempts at passes, attempts at setups, and GCU are kind of picking up the scraps at the end, saying we don't really have to work as hard as you might assume. We just got to play our own style, wait for the opportunity. Looking at a couple taps, though, right now, that opportunity is not really abound, as that's going to be a miss there by Nando to set the ball back up.
Yeah, and you're exactly right. They've not been able to really find each other in more methodical paces as well as passes, and they did hand off one and had to go past the second man. Hey, by the way, Omni, that's the guy. He goes flying by. A bit of bullying. This ball is going to creep nearby. Third man just slightly late to the attempt. But GCU They stick a person around. A player often is always lurking nearby from the initial attack. And as it kind of squirts over into what could be seen as the passive safety perimeter, they continue to just elaborate the play. And we go to 2 minutes, still up 2-0.
I think this is GCU's sweet spot, right? They're okay sitting at this 2-0. Most teams would be hunting for those larger opportunities, push to 3, push to 4. But GCU play, like this is all they really need. Take a look at this. Playing off the edges, making sure that they kind of waste as much time as possible. Not making it easy for the returns. These long range shots they feel like they're just kind of stalling out for time. So sitting in this 2-0 zone, Okanagan have to realize they're already in a pinch. And take a look at that, another opportunity high and above. Just, I mean, so many mid-range shots, a lot less team coordinated plays here.
Yeah, Omni was looking like they were given the role of permanent defender. They were just staying in goal for a bit too long, and that's not what you want to see, when, especially when Vans is out there chasing people down. It was a free ball at midfield, and right now that's kind of definitive as where Okanagan has not been able to progress. Now, a big clear by Fisher. You have both Vans and Omni underneath it, and they are being ruined from behind. Great retaliatory type rotations by Grand Canyon. That's one of the better shots, and just didn't have enough pace.
I mean, that's what we want to see out of Okanagan, right? GCU are playing this defensive game perfectly. The rotations, the ability to get each other out of dangerous situations, and ensuring those full boosts in the center are being rotated between their teammates. There has been no accurate shots on goal with no defenders in GCU, right? Okanagan have always shot on defended goal. They have never really been testing those scenarios. Take a look at this one. That's going to be a carry, but another block, right? GCU are constantly playing this game to perfection. Okanagan need to start getting a little bit fancy with it if they want a chance at making this third game work, because game 2, I'm unfortunately going to say, I think is done.
21 seconds, you got to average a goal every 7. That's fast math. Even a caster can do it, but I don't think that GCU has to worry about Okanagan doing it here in this current second game. They've been able to bury them non-stop with a plethora of goals, and really hasn't been just an absolute, like, waylay. Oh, unfortunate, as that one will bounce up, and they can't even buy a goal at this point. To the crossbar, a save for Fisher, and that's going to have to be some level of consolation. Game number 2 will go to GCU, and they're going to be one off from taking this series, looking for a fat sweep to try and end the Friday night. Grand Canyon University looking like they're going to try and win this fight. You got to think that has got to be the test that we see coming into game number 3. Is it going to be a sweep, or is this when we finally see Okanagan put their heads together and, well, come up with an idea that works?
I hate saying it, but the only way is you're going to have to get pretty jiggy with it. You got to go aggressive. You got to go fancy with it, and you got to kind of all or nothing on the attack or defense, right? That's your one option at this point. I don't think the defense is going to win any because you can't move up, as we said. So going on these 1v1s, going on these attempts and just going for a break ball, I think those are your only options. Yes, that's going to put your goal at risk, but you got to break through GCU's stalwart defensive side.
They have been able to out-mech you. They've been able to out-rotate you. They've been able to take away your boost. Flip reset. That one, nice save. Trying to complete it, but they will not. The third man in Froppy will crash the gate. That's what GCU needed to get this lead again.
This dead ball here felt so bad, right? You can see it, just that touch, just that glance. If they had actually ramped up in that back corner like I think they originally planned to, instead of boosting off the wall, that would have been a block. That would have punted it out. But, I mean, GCU well done on the finish. Oh! Fonz, okay. I like it!
All right, dead ball, open it up. They neutralized it, send a second man, and you didn't have a second man attacker from GCU. So for the first time in 3 games since the tie of the starting whistle at 0-0, we're right back to even Stevens at 1 apiece. Okanagan not dead yet, but GCU is trying to kick him.
I mean, they do so well. Take a look at this, right? It was an attempt at setup. You were trying to clear it out, and they prepped it almost perfectly. Actually, that was Nando. I do lie. And Nando was able to get behind it, redirect, and prop it up for their teammates. Answering back against a quick goal from Okea feels very, very bad. And now Okea are going to try for their own side of a quick kick. But again, grab by GCU, carrying it up in the air. Going to be blocked, but it's enough. That balance that Okea were holding is now pretty much gone.
You don't get the pleasantry of a kickoff every single time that you want to be able to make some offense happen. So that's going to be Okanagan that has to find their offense again, but this time with much more standardized rotations. Froppy to the sidewall as you have one of their teammates trying to escape and immediately having the confidence and the vitriol to look for a redirect. No back pass necessary as Nando step up over the midfield line. Latimos with a great challenge. And this will actually fall into contested waters. Fisher, though, will be there. And all of a sudden, they're upfield. I want to see this turn into a longer presence, but look how quickly Froppy's able to send it off.
It's all about that. Is it a constant attack or is it not? And honestly, I would still call this a constant attack, right? A quick one out redirected. Okea do still have fighting ground. The problem is when Latimos gets their hands on it, looking for a bounce back. That's going to be a demo in front, but not able to convert means that Froppy is going to try and get this ball back under control. These demos coming out of GCU are starting to become a problem once again here as Fisher goes on the aggressive as well. Love the physicality coming out here. Nando going to try and clear it above headboard. It will be done here. GCU fighting back for a chance. Good block by Vince.
Nando and Froppy seem to be kind of more variable in their overall push-up. You have Latimos that looks to maintain full control off the top 90 face, and that's just going to be unfortunate physics-wise for Okea. Okanagan wanted to find themselves a tie, and that is just a lineman play. You light someone up so that your own teammate can do the same thing to the back of the net.
Bam. And even Nando wasn't ready for it. I hope you saw that. Nando was not ready for that demo to come through. At most, it was going to be a bump, and then the demo came through. Like, oh wait, no, I can bump this in. We're good. We're good. I love it so much. GCU coming out with some exceptional plays here. Okanagan, again, these single target plays are what might win them this game. But a great defense here for GCU is going to give it right back to them.
Looking from the top rope, Nando there, maybe just a step too soon, rotated in instead of out to try and strike that ball. And this is becoming a foot race, a soft bounce though, as that one does not connect. Omni creating chaos, and Vans cuts in instead of out, and yet still at least pressing the matter to the back wall. 100 seconds remaining in what could be the entirety of this series, as Grand Canyon University has done a lot of the work. They just need to put their name on the paper and get the good grade.
Honestly, this last minute or so has actually looked pretty good from Okanagan. They were on the aggressive multiple times, but I mean, they just weren't able to score. And honestly, at this point, GCU just feeling a little bit better. Now to the wall, Omni going to try and set themselves up. But again, these passes have been looking good. No one else is really there. Dead ball in the center. Little bit of a boot, looking for a tap off the top, but can't convert. Teammate tries to get in on it as well. But with that, the goal line is clear. A miss by Nando, though. That would have been a goal. Now rolled to the edge now as Okanagan are ready to go back on the attack.
Trying to play some waterfall volleyball as they tossed it right back towards their opponent's net. Top shelf, maybe in. Nando has been just running out of boost every time they want to find a clip. Froppy, they can't complete it, and neither can a tertiary GCU teammate. So Latimos will take midfield boost, call up their own. That's Fisher with the read. That's a free net. It's a foot race. They can't get it past the defenders. They rotate through, and yet top shelf and in goes Vans. And we're one away. That's one of the best plays we've seen from Okanagan.
I mean, that's how you follow up, right? That's on paper how you follow up behind your teammate, and it was so well done with enough time to try and tie it up. Okanagan, they see light at the end of the tunnel here. GCU are hoping to close it down, though. And I mean, as long as they keep it up in the air for 30 seconds, you're good. Golden Omni gonna try and dance against, but that's a shot in the corner, not gonna land.
Is that light hope or heaven, though? Are you gonna be dead at the end of this, or are you gonna be living life? Omni underneath it. That's a free net, looking to steal it, and they actually save it. Tick-tock goes the clock. Maybe they're just playing it up with 10 seconds to go. That one could have been the insurance goal they needed. Could be punishable the other direction. GCU, they're trolling me. Latimos trying to knock away Vans. It's an air ball, 0-second time. Looking for the grass. They turn everyone into ashes, and then they secure the win. GCU playing with my heartstrings and my voice, and they take a 3-0 sweep at the end of it.
It was well done. Well done all the way through. And honestly, at the start, it was a quick gun, 2.6 seconds up to 60. and then it was just gone, right? There was not a chance in the world, it felt like, for Okanagan to come back. And again, it was just all around great play from GCU. Both these teams, I mean,